The new favorite game of Democrats, their new favorite strategy is to talk about internment camps and concentration camps. Far left activists, judges continue to undermine President Trump's agenda.
I saw a story the other day. Only 1% of deportees are murderers.
We have a couple clips of Elmer Fudd and Sean Hannity attempting to defend Trump's vastly unpopular and inhumane immigration policy. So if you can't, leave us a like on the video. It helps us out a bunch. It gets us out there in the algorithm. And let's jump in with our fact checks very much ready.
Far left activists, judges continue to undermine President Trump's agenda. This time, an Obama-appointed judge in Florida issuing a ruling that temporarily halted construction at the Immigration Detention Center in Florida, the one dubbed Alligator Alcatraz. But that is not stopping the DHS from moving forward with plans to build a new detention center, this one in Indiana, the Speedway Slammer, that the department says will hold up to 1,000 of the worst criminal illegal aliens. And by the way, with the rate at which they're being arrested, the detention space is needed. Yesterday, federal agents in a Penske truck descended on a Home Depot in L.A., leading to 16 arrests in an area that authorities say has a very large MS-13 presence. Now, while President Trump is doing everything he can do to get our country back to safety and security and to get rid of all the unvetted Harris, Biden, Mayorkas illegals, known terrorists.
There's so many falsehoods to point out here. First, I love how a Republican judge blocked Biden's blanket student loan forgiveness plan, and MAGA still called him a dictator for solely finding another way to do partial student loan forgiveness, because defying a judge to them was something only authoritarians do. But now, of course, the judges are just woke activists, so it's justified when Trump does it. It's different, guys. Trust me. Second, he's again doing the silly little unvetted but known terrorist line. If they're not vetted, we don't know who they are. Also, over 70% of ICE detainees have no criminal record, so it's hardly, we need more space for hardened criminals. And then he tried to sneak a sneaky little one in there at the end too. 16 migrants arrested in an area with MS-13. Notice how he doesn't say they're MS-13, because they aren't. But he wants you to take that as the implication, where, mind you, this was a raid where ICE agents hid in a Penske rental truck, fully masked up in direct violation of a court order, and stormed a Home Depot. And they got undocumented immigrants, not criminals and not gang members. So, baller start, Sean Hannity.
Everybody we arrest, I look at that data every morning, Sean. 70% of everybody we arrest is a criminal. The other 30%, national security threats, final orders. People had due process, a great taxpayer expenditure order removed by judge. By law, we got to remove them. So the numbers are great, right? But now the left is saying they're not criminal enough. I saw a story the other day. Only 1% of deportees are murderers. Really? That is a new level?
Yeah, that's just an outright lie. These are numbers anyone can look at. I have the data. I showed it in the last section. I'll show it again. The 70% number is actually over 71% in ICE detention have no criminal record. Another 15% or so only have minor traffic violations or their immigration offense only. The point of the murderer statistic being pointed out also is that Trump equated all undocumented immigrants to violent criminals. This was his propaganda that he ran, and it's being debunked in real time by his own immigration efforts, where it's less than 1% murderers also, and mostly not criminals. Also, Elmer Fudd was literally on Fox News a few weeks ago saying all that ICE officers need for probable cause to detain someone is their race, their accent, or their occupation. Like, how does that equate to targeting criminals without being just insanely racist?
The new favorite game of Democrats, their new favorite strategy is to talk about internment camps and concentration camps and Alligator Alcatraz, and this judge put this ruling in place, but you are planning to build out a new holding facility in Indiana. You really do need the space, but let's call it what it really is. Wouldn't that be called jail for people that didn't respect the laws, our borders, our sovereignty? In other words, what Nancy Pelosi was saying. And isn't it basically temporary because most of those people would be deported over time?
Most of them be deported within days or weeks. But Alligator Alcatraz, I was down there Monday. I walked through the food preparation area. Fantastic. I went through the medical facility. top notch.
So to paint where we're at, what we have is the people who have every reason to lie, telling us that everything is top notch and fine and to trust them, but we won't let anyone in to see, we won't show any proof, nothing like that. And you know, it's also the people who has lied about immigration on multiple instances. Remember when they couldn't return Abrego Garcia? And on the other side, we have multiple reports, multiple family accounts of those incarcerated, of mistreatment, horrendous conditions. I have an interview coming out on my second channel, link in the description, with a coalition that actually, like, they have lawyers and stuff that works for people in Alligator Alcatraz, speaking of migrants, of dozens and kennels and all of that. So you decide which to believe. Also, it's not Democrats saying internment camps, or it is, but it's not us saying it, you know, because we're Democrats and we don't like Trump. It's the US government, really. It's historical precedents. We did this exact thing to Japanese Americans. We literally even used the Alien Enemies Act to justify it, and we later recognized them as internment camps and it as wrong, and we paid millions in reparations for it. If these people read a single history book, maybe they would know that.